Hello, loves. Hello, hello. Hills here from the Blue Flame. How are we all doing? Ooh. Today, as I open up this update for us all, we have Sun in Virgo conjunct an asteroid or a planetoid called Orcus, another lord of the underworld, another Pluto, and a keeper of vows and oaths, exactly across the wheel from retrograde Saturn. As we are coming into this energy, today I'm recording this on the 7th of September here in the Pacific time zone. On the 8th, we will find Mercury at the final degrees of Leo, moving forward again, getting ready to coming into the exact Yod formation with our retrograde Pluto, the other lord of the underworld, and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So Pluto, who has now come into the 29th degree of Capricorn, and Neptune in Pisces retrograde now at about 28 degrees. As this is happening, the opposition between the Sun and Saturn and Orcus becomes more and more exact also. Then we have an energy which is the big piece of what I'm here to talk about today, which is the 9/9 portal. And this is happening on Monday, and I will be holding a free event for it. We're going to come into some of the reason why I am holding this free event as the energies move. So this weekend, we have a lot of energy, and we're moving into eclipse season on the 17th or 18th, depending on where you are. We will have the partial lunar eclipse. It's a partial eclipse, but it is a full supermoon in Pisces, and it is very tightly conjunct Neptune. So there is a lot of energy moving in right now for clearing out old karmic baggage. One of the pieces of this is Orcus. Orcus is the keeper of vows in ancient lore. The spelling is Orcus, and it's an ancient Italian god, a version of Pluto, of Hades. Now, when we have the Sun conjunct this energy, which invites us to look at our outward expression of the vows that we keep, the oaths that we've made, the agreements that we have come into, in the perfecting energy of Virgo, we could find a lot of the negotiations coming back up, recycling for us. This is very, very strong. You may have started to notice it throughout the week, in fact, but it is very, very strong through this weekend. And as we move through the waxing moon coming towards that full moon, and then the equinox just a few days later. Saturn is moving retrograde. All of the large planets are now, well, not large because Jupiter's not retrograde yet, but all of the outer generational planets are now moving retrograde. This is inviting us to come into a state of review of generational vows, contracts, oaths, agreements that we have made through our ancestral line, through the incarnation journey of our soul. All of the various incarnations our soul has had in this earthly plane and otherwise. One of the energies that was feeling really loud for me over the last couple of days is the energy of Arcturus, which is interesting because Arcturus is not in a tight formation right now with any other bodies. But then last night when I was gifted the remembering that Orcus is also conjunct the sun right now, I could feel the play, the interchange between Arcturus and Orcus, and how they are dancing with one another. So let's feel for a minute. Been asked to keep this particular update very tight because we're going to have an event. So as I said, all of this energy is kind of coming to a head over the course of this weekend. And then on Monday, 9/9, we have that beautiful energetic of completion, the preparation to begin a new cycle, which the 9 is the symbol for. Now, this year, it's a bit special, even more special, because this being an 8-year, 2024, when we bring all of the numerology together, the 9 and the 9 and the 2 and the 2 and the 4, we get a 26, which is an 8 also. So at this moment of completion, we will be given an opportunity to come into that pause at the center point of the infinity symbol. When we look at the 9, we can start to feel one of those loops, right? Now I'm going to invite you to feel into the potentiality of this energy of coming into that moment of pause at the center of the infinity symbol, occurring on the same day that the messenger conjunct the Archangel Raphael's asteroid passed through the 0 point of Virgo and the heart of the lion, the fixed star Regulus. Well, at the self same moment, Orcus is still exactly opposite the retrograde Saturn. Here we can start to feel, I'm going to invite us to start to feel how much internal review, heart-based internal review, courageous internal review we are invited to in this moment. How a retrograde Saturn in Pisces invites us to rewrite from a more heart-based, higher heart-based, with a greater understanding, those oaths that were made generally from a place of fear or wounding. These are really the karmic cycles that we're talking about breaking, that we have the opportunity to shift our perspective with. Now, at this same moment, the great attractor is in square to Saturn and Orcus and the sun. So this is giving us that really lovely energy for clearing and composting and pulling out with great speed all of this energy. We get a magnifier put on the contracts that we have, the karmic cycle that we're playing out, and an invitation to walk in a different way. One of the energies of Regulus, where Mercury and Raphael, the archangel of healing, which healing is the moniker of Virgo. It's the sixth house, which Virgo rules, right? That green ray energy. And Regulus is the fixed star guardian of the northern gate. Now, the northern gate is connected to the archangel Uriel, but is also where we go forward. Where we go forward. If you think about the north and south nodes, it is what we bring forward. Can you feel how that energy of the heart, the courageous heart of the lion, it takes immense courage and strength to look at the path that your ancestors have rode and take a different one. Your mother and father, your brothers and sisters, your soul has taken, and say, these places on this path no longer serve. These traumatic events can be witnessed and released. We do not have to keep battling this war. We do not need to keep fighting this war anymore. And I will go this way instead. That takes immense courage and strength of will. And this is the opportunity that we are being gifted in this moment. In each moment, and especially now with Pluto in these last degrees of Capricorn as well through the eclipse wormhole. And as we come out on the other side in November, going back into Aquarius and bringing us forward. So on to the invitation. Now, yesterday, I'm going to share a fun little piece. Yesterday, before I got the hit about Orcus, the god of vows and oaths, I drew a card for us in the members portal, the Blue Flame community over at the Patreon. And the card that I got, the vow. Then, of course, a few hours later, I got the hit about Orcus. So the information that came through when I shared in our Blue Flame community was that on 9/9 at 10:10 a.m. Pacific, I will facilitate a live transmission and activation to help us shift energy in our systems. The transmission itself is going to be fairly short. I'll be keeping it relatively tight to the eclipse wormhole itself. And then as the energy builds, we'll go into an activation of light. This will include a meditation guided with light language and other things. It's open channel, so I only have bits and pieces in the moment. But each of us in the Blue Flame community is invited. So if you're not already a part of the Blue Flame community, I invite you. There will be a link below to come on over and check it out. Now, this is not part of the membership tiers. This is an offering to the entirety of the Blue Flame community, which means that if you join as a free member, you're also invited to this activation. We feel in the meantime, some really lovely practices that you could engage in, that you could allow yourself to explore and experience, would be a meditative practice to feel into areas of stuckness, places where you find a repeating pattern. It could be a repeating pattern in your relationships. I keep calling this type of person into my life. It could be a repeating pattern in, I keep calling in an energy of devaluing. I seem to have a cycle of blocking intuition or sight, of misunderstanding, of this could be vows of poverty, disempowerment, helplessness, shame spirals, a looping in the brain that tells you you're not enough. These things can come in various ways. Usually, they're given away by their same frequency transmission. What do I mean by that? I mean that they make us feel the same way, even if they appear very different. Oh, my mom said this to me over and over and over again when I was a kid, and it made me feel a certain way. I watch this thing on TV and it gives me that same feeling. Or I read this book, or I listen to this song and it gives me the same feeling. It's saying that you have a moment to recognize what that feeling is and to go even deeper and feel the kernel where it began. Most of us, when we have a repeating cycle, we'll use disempowerment, repeating cycle of disempowerment. This is very loud for us collectively right now too, with Chiron and Aries. What we'll notice is that we're constantly being triggered to step into our own power. A lot of times this will happen by somebody coming in and trying to take it from us, or us feeling like we don't have any power. We cannot affect change. We are hamsters running on a wheel and there's no exit. Whenever someone comes in, though, and shows you a moment of disempowerment, you have a choice. You can either say, yes, you're right, I'm completely powerless, and you have all the power in this situation. Or you can rise up and say, actually, no, that's not true. You don't have that power to take that thing from me or to make me believe this thing about myself unless I give it to you. And I'm not going to give it to you. And that might look like walking away. That might look like standing up for yourself. It might look like disengaging completely from the situation, which many of us might believe because of old programming is a form of giving our power away. But a lot of times the getting up and turning around and walking out the door is the strongest way that we can reclaim our power. Sometimes it's simply breaking a habit. Simply breaking a habit. It could be as simple as changing the way that we wake up in the morning. The first thing that you do when you get out of bed, or the last thing you do before you go to bed. It could be something like changing how you take your lunch break at work. Perhaps you are running a script that says, if I leave my desk and go and take an hour for myself to have lunch, I'm going to get fired. So you don't take time for yourself in the middle of the day. Who are you valuing and what are you valuing in that moment if you're not taking that time? Will you actually get fired, or is that just a gaslighting program that's been writing? A feeling that you are not as important as whatever that task that you have to be sitting at your desk, the answering of the phone maybe, because it can't go to voicemail. These are just a few examples. Yours will be unique to you. Likely it will have something to do with a perfectionist sort of quality, especially in this current of energy that we're navigating right now. With that, I'm going to invite you one more time. Come on over to the Patreon to join as a tiered member, as a free community member, however it feels true to your soul, to enjoy the daily draws and the other offerings that are within that community space, and to then join us on Monday at 10:10 a.m. Pacific. The event will also be recorded, so if you join part as the community member, it will be uploaded shortly after we finish the transmission. I will also be doing another drawing on Sunday to help us come more fully into the energies. The vow card is staying active, and we'll have some friends join, and I'll share a posting and a weaving on all of that within the community as well. There's also a meditation that is normally within the container of the members portal that is currently available for all of our community members. It is a subtle shifts empowerment frequency meditation. So you can check that out also. You come over to the Patreon. Please do invite any friends if you think that that would serve. And as always, in the always, so much and many loves to you from, through, and beyond the all dimensions. Oh, also, like the video, share it, subscribe, all the things. Leave me a comment if that feels true. And just to note, we will be talking more about Arcturus and Orcus during our call. All right, bye, I love you.